Now, the reason I'm wearing this vest is because I wear many hats, and it's as a result of my many hats that the relationships and the partnerships that have happened at school have been generated from the outside of school and then brought into school. Some of the things that we've been offered, we didn't know we were going to be offered. You know, imagine you're at a meeting like this and somebody tells you you're going to be doing this great program. Well, that happens because of relationships and partnerships. So, let's see how we go. Okay, so this is our most exciting project to date, which was our BRIM project, and you can see that that our relationships happen over time. You need to get your hands dirty, you need to get out there and volunteer and rise to the challenges, and you say, you know, take your shoes and socks off and feel the mud and let the fish free. So our school is John Tonkin College. It is in Mandurah, so we have the opportunity that we are close to the sea and we have our amazing Peel-Harvey Estuary. Our Surf Science program, kids have to apply to get into that program, so we take kids out of area and they're together for all their core subjects, and they have an outdoor ed focus. So each year has sort of like an environmental project that they work on through the year. Some of the projects carry through. Sometimes we get a new project that raises its head and then we jump on it and bring it in to our kids. So it's just, you know, like this year we've got 2 new 7 classes coming in and they'll be working on the mussels. Okay, so Estuary Guardians, you can see I can take off all my other paraphernalia now. Estuary Guardians arose because, yeah, that's it, that's where it stopped. Okay, so I was actually teaching in the Kimberley and couldn't get a job as a primary teacher, so I had to go the dark side, which was high school. And I got the job because of my work with bushrangers and doing project-based learning. I did a lot of work in Derby, worked with the Indigenous rangers and community groups. I was one of the founders of the Derby Land Care Group. So, you know, I took kids on the Gib River bike ride. We had a team and we rode across the Gib. So, yeah, took them toad busting. You know, we caught toads. So did lots of environmental work with Indigenous kids and brought bushrangers to Derby and brought environmental education into Derby District High School. And Fitzroy Crossing, I worked there as well, worked there with Year 7s. So, Estuary Guardians. What happened was that Mandurah has 3 times as many dolphins as the Swan River. Nothing was being done. We didn't have our own fin guide. So myself and another teacher and the students, we formed Estuary Guardians with the view to getting the community together to find out about our dolphins and produce our first fin guide. So we, of course, wrote for grants and worked together, brought in Dolphin Rescue, which I belong to as well. And our biggest partner in all of our projects, of course, is the amazing Peel-Harvey Catchment Council, which are a heap of them here today. We've had so much support from them, and they've helped us. You know, they were partial funder in the initial fin guide, and each version we're up to number 4. They have supported us financially alongside guides and, you know, providing refreshments for our events. So we've had some, just wonderful support from them. So we formed Estuary Guardians, produced our first fin guide, and by bringing the community together, one of our students, which is not showing up very well down the left-hand side, Aaron Johnson, I said to my group of students, who was year 9, we need to bring everybody together for a forum. That night, he goes home. He emails Lynn Beasley. He books the one of the theatres at Manpack. So he sends out and he invited, who's heard of Sydney? Anyway, she was an X Factor contestant. He's got her So overnight, this kid has booked this venue, invited all these people to our first Dolphin Forum. So the next day, Lynn Beasley rings up the school, wants to speak to this teacher, Aaron Johnson. And of course they said, no, we haven't got a teacher called Aaron Johnson, but we have a student. So of course she was blown away, the fact that, the students are taking charge of this forum and inviting everybody. And the Fish Trap Theatre is like $1,000 to hire. Gold coin donation. Okay, so we got the Fish Trap Theatre for a gold coin donation. So that was pretty exciting. We had forums. We had 2 and 3 a year. We invited the researchers, which was Krista Nicholson, who's now Dr. Krista Nicholson, who has done her PhD on dolphin research, and she's actually been amazing support for us. We've worked with her on the Fin Guide. So Dolphin Watch didn't come to Mandurah to 2019. So we did 2015, 16, 17, 18 ourselves before DBCA became involved. And officially we had Dolphin Watch. You can see, the kids have done presentations. The kids were on the radio. We've got Aaron and Paddy Curry was a wonderful support for us, got us on the radio. The cupcakes, we got home ec. We made the cupcakes. This was pre-COVID, of course. We can see how it's a whole school approach, sort of involving other teachers and other groups in this project. The fishing line bins, it took a while. I was actually the second place in WA. I got them on the Derby Jetty in 2008, and it took from 2008 to 2015 to get them to Mandurah. But finally they arrived in Mandurah in 2015. And again, we've now involved with Reel It In, so we've got Reel It In bins, so the support from DBCA, and now through Estuary Guardians we've got community members monitoring our bins, and we've got a little fishing bin angel group monitoring these bins. Okay, so and just going back, sorry, to Estuary Guardians, because I get a bit excited and I haven't got a script, so forgive me, because I teach to point of need, so I don't sort of say I'm doing step A, step B, step C. As far as Estuary Guardians, started at school and then it grew to a whole community organisation, and now the admin is still myself, but Mandurah Dolphin Rescue, all of us that are involved in that, we've sort of been absorbed with that, which means we get, as well as seabird rescue, we get dolphin sightings, all sorts of things coming through to the Facebook page, so we are very reactive to the community watching out for our dolphins. So another project that we had was the Shorebird project. Fortunately, again, being on the ground, take part in the 2020 Shorebird count. Shari Meredith was coordinating that. And then we had the opportunity to work with Millie Formby on the Redneck Stint project. So a lot of you have probably been involved with Millie or know of Millie, and who Shorebird count here? Yep, a few of you? Okay. So as part of that Shorebird project, we learn about the Redneck Stint, or our students did, and then as part of, let's go to the next one, Millie Formby came into our class. Millie Formby had this amazing vision, this amazing plan to fly an ultralighter up to the tundra. But of course, plan A is not always a straight line. So she's up to about plan F by now because, she broke her leg and then she broke her arm. Yeah, she was hopping all across the bathroom floor with her broken leg, slipped and fell and then broke her arm. Then we've got COVID, and then North Korea wants lots of money to fly over their airspace. So there's lots of things that... huge hurdles. But anyway, so ultimately she wants to fly around Australia, do shorebird education, and then whether she actually gets to the tundra is a different point. It doesn't matter. You've still got to have a vision, you've got to have a plan, and to educate children and other people about how important it is to protect the habitat. That's the most important thing. And you know, like, and that's how I work. I have visions of a product at the end. I've got some samples of our kids' products for different projects, and the product is not always your initial vision, but it doesn't matter because you still get something out of it, some way to educate, inform other students, adults, and the community through what you do. We had this guy on the left. He has an organisation called, thank you, Wild Roots in India. He was one of my Facebook friends. Kim Davies, who's the lady with a hat. We actually went to India to a climate change congress put on by their school. We talked about our bushranger cadets, and then he actually came over September a few years later. And took part in Kids Teaching Kids, because that's the time he came. We've had our kids doing shorebird ID, using the apps to report their data. Where are we? We've continued our shorebird education. The kids did Kids Teaching Kids presentation, been to Coodanup High School to help the kids, it's a primary school there. But we've actually been to Coodanup High School, teaching a few kids to help the Coodanup students make the shorebirds. We've also worked with the men's sheds, so the men's sheds at a very reduced price, like $1 each or something, 50 cents. They cut out the birds for us, and then the students have painted them. In the background there, you can see a model of the Fairy Turn Sanctuary in Mandurah. So that was part of our Kids Teaching Kids project. Now our students, so this is where. Okay, so in Mandurah as part of the kids, who knows what Kids Teaching Kids is? A few of you. Okay, Kids Teaching Kids has been happening in Mandurah for about 10 years. So different primary schools and high schools come together, the kids do a project and then teach the other kids. So it happens over 2 days. Obviously with COVID, it's a bit of a stalling point. But anyway, so in the city of Mandurah, they offer a scholarship to go to the Melbourne's Kids Teaching Kids, where it all started. We enter every year, different projects, depends on the school, depends on, So anyway, the Shorebirds project won. So the students were showing their projects and games. So we do it through a lot of game-based playing, obviously, because we want to get the kids interested and maintain their attention, and they learn facts. So we make our games from like year 3 to year 7. So this was a matching game where you pull off all the string and then you've got to match part of the flyway. So the students were demonstrating the games to the City of Mandurah staff. So we won that year's competition. So we took 6 students to Melbourne. So we went to the Wetlands and then to Kids Teaching Kids. Okay, now the Black Bream project, which has been an incredibly exciting, stressful project. 5 minutes to go already, jeepers. Okay, so Black Bream, there was an issue with them. I'll just move through quickly. They weren't breeding, numbers were low, so we have Steve and Murdoch University designed a stock enhancement project. So I'll just flick through these while I'm talking, to raise bream at school and release them in the river. So we actually built the system. So Ben and Alan designed the system. I had kids after school, before school, working and putting the system together. We've got these 2 systems at school. We had lots of issues on the way, so we've just done 3 years of it. We made up the salt water. Now we get the salt water trucked in. So we actually were mixing up the salt water. We grew the phytoplankton in the beginning, but the last 2 years we actually got that from Queensland, saves a bit of time. So very labour intensive, but amazingly, these kids are amazingly resilient, learnt lots of skills along the way. We grew rotifers, which are the tiny zooplankton, which we fed the bream on those, and then we moved to Artemia, which is your sea monkeys. So we've had tours, we had people to come through and look at our system. The Artemia are lots of fun. Let's see, go to the next one. The kids were doing the data. We had real scientific monitoring of our parameters for our fish. We obviously did some games. We presented at Kids Teaching Kids. We also got invited to World Environment Day at Harmony Primary School. Thanks, Vicky, wherever she is. She's let down there, yep. So we've done that. And our acknowledgements to all these amazing people. Again, we needed grants. I belong to Manager Heritage Environment Group, and I got offered a grant from Recfish West, but the school couldn't apply for it, so it was still me doing the work, but it was just through a different agency. We also had members of our my environment groups coming in to help. So this is just, I'll just show you a quick little bit of this video, hopefully.
So enjoy the next short clip of the JTC Fishing Project. The first thing that you do when entering the fish room is to wash your hands with soap and then dry them with paper towel. Then you put gloves on. This prevents cross-contamination from happening.
We were going to do a VR, but we need about $70,000 for that. How many minutes have I got? 2. Okay, I'll stop it there. But these are all available online. So the kids made, you know, videos, instructional videos. We had lots of issues, which I won't go into now. We've been involved in the shellfish gardening, which I'll go through quickly, with the Nature Conservancy. We had worked with Alan Cunningham again, so that we had mussels down at the marina. Once a month they had to be pulled out, hauled out, measured, cleaned. Again, down there, dirty and muddy. Some kids don't like to get dirty as other kids, so we got them cleaning them up. What else have we got? Then we had a big mussel day. So these mussels that were collected, 220 kilos, have gone out on the reef, on a person-made reef out in the estuary to improve the habitat. So there's lots of this stuff online. You can follow up if you're interested, or send me an email. The fairy turns. So, quick. So the fairy turns, the latest project, I took my kids out to Boundary Island. We did a litter clean-up, we built fairy turn shelters. And the thing is, you can see red paint on that fairy turn shelter. So within 2 weeks of those fairy turn shelters going out onto the pyramids, they were using them, which was just the best thing. The kids are really involved and, you know, like that stewardship and being involved. Guy from Peel Preservation Group helped us with the cutout, and that was it. Weeding, planting trees, bush ranges is another one where we have lots of projects with the community. Tree planting, I love tree planting. This is our latest, last project, or the latest one, where part of the Clean Waterways group, we made a series of videos, and Sharon Meredith, who a lot of you know, she's one of the Wetland works here, she's a videographer. So this is it.
So each time you touch that ciggy, you might think it's no biggie, but these toxins are killing our wildlife. So we need to intervene to keep our waterways clean. So fellas, did you go for a minute, boy? So tell them, bend that cigarette butt, baby, bend that butt. Baby, bend that butt. Baby, bend that butt. Baby, bend that butt. I said, bend that butt. Baby, bend that butt. Baby, bend that butt.
Thank you. And my mask.
Thank you. I love the energy, and obviously that energy has driven the vision. The two go together beautifully, and one must not underestimate that a lot of this work is driven by its leadership. So well done to you. Congratulations. And the key now is obviously to make it sustainable, for not just built on someone as good as yourself, but really well done.